Hello and welcome to Treasury Notes, a financial education program from the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office. I'm your host, Gina Joins. In January 2021, Riley Moore of Jefferson County was sworn in as West Virginia's 25th State Treasurer. Under Treasurer Moore's leadership, West Virginia's savings and investment programs, which include Smart 529, WVABLE, and West Virginia Retirement Plus, continue to thrive and grow. A new savings and investment program called Jumpstart will soon be available as well. It's specifically designed for people who want to save for expenses as they build a trade career. Treasurer Riley Moore is here today to talk about his new program, Jumpstart, as well as advancements being made with other Treasury Office programs. Treasurer Moore, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it has been a busy year with a lot going on in the Treasurer's Office, especially since you were sworn in. So just why don't we start by you talking about how you feel as you wrap up this first year as West Virginia's State Treasurer?
Well, it's been a very busy year, and we got a lot accomplished in our first legislative agenda. We had 9 bills signed into law. We've undertaken a lot of programs to modernize the office, make it more efficient and more streamlined in its activities and how we utilize taxpayer dollars to execute those programs in which we are asked to do. And it's gone extraordinarily well so far. It's hard to believe it's already been a year, but there's certainly more to come.
It goes by fast, and I really want to start by talking about one of your biggest initiatives. You said there are new programs, one of which is Jumpstart. That is a new program that you have in the office, getting ready to unveil it in 2022. Talk a little bit about the program and how it's going to allow people who are starting a career in some trade profession save and invest for the equipment and resources that they need.
Well, it's a really exciting program. It's the first of its kind in the nation, and it's going to allow people that are enrolled in a trade school or technical school or union apprenticeship to start a Jumpstart savings plan, which will allow them to save dollars for after graduation to be able to buy tools, equipment, licenses, certifications, and new business startup costs. So it's a really innovative program that we're excited to get off the ground here in West Virginia that I think is going to do a lot to help move our blue-collar workforce forward and have them not only trained for jobs of the future, but also equipped.
You said this is a first of its kind program in the nation, so I'm interested to find out how this came about. How did you come up with this idea, and how did it come to fruition?
Certainly. Well, I started my career actually off as a welder working in a mining operation. So I'm from Jefferson County. It's not coal up there. It's open pit mine, so that's trap rock. But that's how I started my career path off. And at one point I had thought about going out on my own and starting my own mobile welding business. And it was really cost prohibitive, particularly at the age I was at. I was quite a bit younger than I am now. And I didn't want to take that risk. And what I'm hoping is that a program like this can mitigate that risk for people that want to start their own small business and go out and buy the tools and equipment necessary to go out and fulfill their vocational dream, as I had thought I wanted to do. But certainly I switched career paths, and here I am now as state treasurer.
And lots of people do switch career paths, but it's good to have options. Let's talk about the legislative session. I know that this was one of your big things that you had to get passed, so you really had to put it through the legislative process as one of your very first priorities as state treasurer.
This was actually the first bill that passed the House of Delegates in the legislative session this year. And it passed unanimously in the House and Senate. It was actually also, the bill was advocated for by and endorsed by the Chamber of Commerce and the trade unions. And we're excited to have both sides of that coin here as it relates to the economy of West Virginia. Endorse the program. So it's been unanimously supported. We've talked to trade schools and workers from all over the state of West Virginia, and they're very excited for this opportunity.
You talk about blue-collared workforce and the importance of building a diverse workforce. Let's talk about that here in West Virginia. Why is that important to you? Because I think we hear those phrases tossed around quite a bit in West Virginia, and it is really important that we build a diverse workforce.
Well, as I mentioned previously, I used to be a welder, and if I would have continued to be a welder, I'd probably be making more money now than I am currently. But it's so important to the economy of West Virginia and really the country, because this is how you come up with a strong economy, because that middle class, the strength of that really dictates the strength of the economy and allows us to kind of hedge our economic futures in terms of the boom and bust cycles that we see periodically in energy. It will also, though, help bolster energy production, I think, also here in the state as it relates to coal and gas. But to have a strong economy, you have to have a robust and diversified economy. And I think that this program is going to go a long way to help achieve that goal.
And it will start in West Virginia, but I believe your hope is that it will expand to other states, especially being the first of its kind in the nation.
I am hopeful of that, and those hopes seem to be somewhat getting fulfilled here. We have had people reach out from other states, such as Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, and several others that have expressed interest. Even at the federal level, we've had members of Congress reach out to us about this program. And so I think it is something, and I hope it is something that is going to continue to expand across the United States. If we're going to continue to grow our economy here in West Virginia, but also this country, these are the type of jobs that we want to see grow. I think as jobs continue to, and I hope continue to, come back from China and are reshored back here in the United States, we've got to be ready to undertake those types of positions.
And the State Treasurer's Office has a long history of managing these types of investment programs, Smart 529 educational savings being another program that's similar in the way it will be managed and how the investments are done. But they're for different types of expenses. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know Smart 529 is really the educational piece, and Jumpstart is going to be more for building that career.
Yes, the Smart 529 program is for college-related programs. So, and you can start this, I mean, right when your child is born, start a Smart 529 college savings plan. And we've had tremendous success in this program. It continues to grow year after year in people that want to take that college path. But for those that don't want to, obviously we have the Jumpstart savings program as well. So I think the Smart 529 program is one that's been hugely beneficial to people around the state of West Virginia and in the country generally.
And there will be some tax incentives too on the state level for Jumpstart. So there's a lot of reasons to open an account and invest.
Absolutely, and there's tax advantages for Jumpstart and there's tax advantages for the Smart 529. The programs in terms of numbers of tax advantages and also the investment vehicle and options there are going to look somewhat similar, but obviously the expenditures are going to be uniquely different, one geared more towards workforce and one geared more towards college.
And many of the men and women who benefit from a Jumpstart account, they're already getting on-the-job training in their field. The businesses they work for can also help their employees build their savings, and that's going to be a really exciting feature with Jumpstart. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, that is actually a unique feature of this program, is that there's a dollar-for-dollar match program where if you have a Jumpstart account, and to be clear, these can stay open in perpetuity after you've opened one, and your employer can actually match you into your account up to $5,000 annually, and that employer then can write those $5,000 contributions off of their taxes annually per employee. So there's a lot of opportunity there, I think, for the employee and the employer to help move the economy forward.
And it doesn't start officially until 2022. It will be open for applications in mid-2022. But there's a lot of work to get done before that time to get this program up and running. Talk a little bit about your office and what your office is doing to really get Jumpstart ready to go.
Well, we have been going all around the state of West Virginia, talking to the different vocational and trade schools and community colleges all around the state, as well as union apprenticeship programs, and getting feedback from them. And why we're getting that feedback is because we're going through the rulemaking process currently that's going to govern the program. So we're getting everything in place to stand that program up and make sure it's as successful as possible on day one. And we are taking applications, as you stated, next year. So if you're interested, please go to our website, WVTreasury.com, and you can learn more about it there.
And one of the benefits is you understand this process because you are a former state lawmaker. So this is very easy for you to fall into this role.
It is. I've been involved in rulemaking. I was on the House Judiciary Committee, so we did go through every rules bundle that the state government came up with. So that was somewhat painful at times, but very educational.
All right, thank you, Treasurer. We're going to take a quick break right now, but when we return, we're going to talk more about the Treasurer's Office programs and how they continue to grow. Stay with us. We will be right back. Welcome back to Treasury Notes. I'm your host, Gina Joins. Today I'm here with State Treasurer Riley Moore. We've been talking about Treasurer Moore's new savings and investment program. It's called Jumpstart. Jumpstart will allow individuals and families to take advantage of state tax benefits as they save money for future expenses while pursuing a career in a trade or a vocation. Treasurer Moore, thanks again for being here with us today. And this has been a great conversation about Jumpstart. We've talked a lot about this program, and it's going to officially launch in mid-2022. And I'm sure you're very excited for that because you've worked very hard on that program. Absolutely. Very excited to get it going. I want to talk a little bit about some of the other programs in the State Treasurer's Office because you came into this role and there are a lot of initiatives that the State Treasurer's Office does for the state. When we talked about Jumpstart, we mentioned the Smart 529 College Savings Program. I wanted to talk a little bit about that and how you, under your leadership, continue to grow this program. Can you talk about, just reiterate why there's still a need for college savings and other education after high school? Yes. So the college career path is certainly one that we've seen lift many people out of poverty. It's incredibly important for people to look at that venue as a pathway to success in a given career. And college, you know, you got to start saving early because the tuition just continues to go up and up and up every year. So to be able to plan financially and responsibly for that future, you really need to start as early as possible for your children or grandchildren, your nieces or nephews. And 529s over the years have expanded to include more than just college. There's 2 years, there's different trade schools that you can use 529 savings for. So it's really grown into a very versatile option to save.
Yes, and the federal government here just recently expanded that for K through 12 private schools as well. So that's another option if you wanted to use that for private education. You could use a 529 for K through 12 as well.
And there's also an incentive program with the 529 right now as well. It's called Bright Babies. That's a $100 incentive for newborns. Talk a little bit about the excitement with that, because you talked about getting ready early and starting early.
Yes, this is a great program where if you are able to start a Smart 529 before the child is over a year old, you can get $100 from our office put into the account to get things going. So don't miss out on $100. It's a great opportunity to get that account moving.
Lots of states doing those $100 incentives, but it's so important because it's a real jolt to get those people starting early. The earlier the better, but it's never too late.
That's right.
529 is just one of the investment programs the office manages. WVABLE is another program that the office manages for people with disabilities. And that's been going on now for a few years, and it's really been life-changing as well for people.
It has, and this is a program that helps individuals that are living with disabilities to be able to save money tax-free for the additional expenses that they're going to incur, obviously living with disabilities. And there are federal tax benefits to this, and it's a really important program. And it's something to keep in mind. It's you need to start it before the age of 26. So that's something that people need to be aware of, certainly.
Going back to the 529 very quickly before we move on, I did want to mention that you are having the When I Grow Up essay contest coming up in January and February of 2022, and you will be launching that contest that gives students in grades kindergarten through 5th grade a chance to win some prize money, some money invested in a Smart 529 for talking about what they want to be when they grow up, and they write these essays. Last year, you also hosted this contest, which was a great success. Talk about that experience.
Oh, that was a tremendous experience, listening to all these young folks write about their hopes and dreams in terms of their potential future jobs and what they'd like to do. It was just really heartwarming to be able to hear how many energetic young folks we have here in the state of West Virginia and how they see themselves in the future. So certainly encourage every child to take place in this essay contest, because I love reading them.
It's a lot of fun. There are some great essays that they enter. We're going to talk now about unclaimed property, because that's a program that the State Treasurer's Office has and manages that is a little different than the savings and investment programs. That's where you actually have the opportunity to give money away. And I think people really can't believe that the State Treasurer is able to travel the state and return what is rightfully theirs. Talk about this program and how exciting it has been for you.
Yes, the Unclaimed Property program's been great because we're returning people's assets and dollars back to them that rightfully belong to them. And you might wonder, well, how in the world did the State Treasurer's Office get a hold of it? Well, every state in America has an Unclaimed Property Act, and when say a bank account goes dormant or stocks go dormant, have not been acted on, by law, they eventually come back over to the State Treasurer's Office. And even myself have unclaimed property, which I found out. And you can also find out through our online database, and you can access all this information online now. And you can go to WVTreasury.com and click on unclaimed property to find those items. But you never know what you might have. We've given back tens of thousands of dollars to individuals that did not know they even had that money.
And you've really placed an emphasis on this program this past year, traveling the state, handing out checks. I want to talk a little bit about where this money comes from, because a lot of people don't know they have it. It could be a forgotten utility deposit, bank account. these people must, when you travel the state and you're able to present someone with a check, I know they are very thankful for that.
Well, one certainly comes to mind, and this was out in my neck of the woods in the Eastern Panhandle. There was a woman whose husband had passed away years back, and obviously that estate had been settled out, but the lawyers missed a bank account that was connected to that settlement that they were not aware of. Turns out she had an extra $55,000 that went over to her, and she was certainly very excited to have that money.
And it's easy to check. I know one of the pillars of your administration has been modernization and improving technology, and it's very easy to go online and check for unclaimed property.
And you can put anybody's name in, but you can't have anybody's money. So, but you can look for anybody's name you'd like. Now you're not going to be able to see the amount, but you can see who has the unclaimed property.
Oh, I think that's you and a teacher, the heirs of a teacher from McDowell County, correct?
Yes, that was a life insurance claim there. And that young lady's going to put those dollars towards her future educational expenses, and she's pursuing a PhD.
Wow, that's so exciting. Well, you talked a little bit about how you can't claim someone else's money. So there are checks and balances in place. I think that's important to know. But with that being said, you are trying to make it easier for people to claim their money and make that process go as smoothly as possible.
We have, in our modernization of the office, we have streamlined that process to try to get that money back as quickly as possible to its rightful owner. So we have worked diligently to streamline that and make it a much shorter process, and we've been happy to return money in a much quicker manner than I think perhaps was happening previously. So it's very exciting to be able to do that.
And again, I just want to remind people you can always go to WVTreasury.com, click on the search button. It will take you right to the unclaimed property page, and you can just put in your information. It's super easy.
Very easy. You can do a claim right online.
And you can share with your friends and family as well. That's a newer feature on the website that I think is really exciting, because if you find someone else's name, you can just automatically have the system send them an email.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of fun there. All right, I want to talk about cash management as well and the LGov program. During 2021 legislative session, I think it was Senate Bill 280, correct, was signed into law, which will require all county and local governments to take payments online. This is something that local governments can work with the state treasurer's office to achieve through the electronic payment system. Talk about this as well.
Well, this is another modernization program that we've had in this office, and this is an exciting thing not only for the local governments and the counties and the cities and the state of West Virginia governments, but it's also exciting for individuals because we're talking about saving time and money, which I think people typically value. And I'll give you an example. There's a county here in West Virginia. To pay your property taxes online, there's a $50 processing fee. We are putting everybody, giving them the option to come under our system with a very, very low processing rate of 1.7%. And this is going to be able to save people time and money throughout their day so they can go be productive people and not hang out at the courthouse all day trying to pay their property taxes or paying an exorbitant fee through the current online processing system. So we're very excited to bring this online here in 2023.
And this will be, you said 2023, so this will be something probably within the next year you will be educating local governments about and how they can really participate in this program and work through the treasurer's office to get this requirement done.
Exactly. And we have started those conversations already, and we're going to continue to have them. We've been working with various stakeholders in counties and municipalities around the state, as well as state government. So only other thing I'd add, that does include the DMV as well. So you're going to be able to pay all that stuff online.
That's going to be exciting for a lot of people in the state. And I think when we went through this whole pandemic as a state and as a nation, and worldwide, people have really changed the way they do business. So I'm sure it's almost expected nowadays.
I think it is, and that's certainly one of the things that has come out of this pandemic, a lot more remote work, but also doing your daily business more remotely, whether that's paying your cable bill or your utility bill, or now soon in 2023, paying your taxes also. So we'll be able to do that in the state of West Virginia online. So it's an exciting opportunity to be able to save money and time and create efficiencies for people.
And some of the other programs that the Treasurer's Office works with, Board of Treasury Investments, you're chairman of that program. You work with the West Virginia Retirement Plus Supplemental Retirement System program. A lot going on in this office, for sure. There's a lot that's been keeping you busy this past year.
There's no doubt, and I think next year is certainly going to be just as busy. We've got a pretty full plate an agenda for the legislative session coming up here next year, and we're just excited to hit the ground running again.
Before we close out, I wanted to circle back to where we started this show and was talking about the Jumpstart program, because I know that's going to be a big initiative that you roll out over the 2022 calendar year. The fact that this is going to be something different for people to invest in. I know it's taking a lot of effort to educate people about what this program is going to bring and what it's going to mean to the people of West Virginia. Can you talk just a little bit more about that?
Well, certainly. Look, it's a purely novel concept in terms of it only exists here in the state of West Virginia. It doesn't have the notoriety of a college savings plan, which is a nationwide program, but we are going to be working diligently to get the information out to everybody in the schools, in the vocations and trades, and working with the various stakeholders around the state of West Virginia and the different communities to get this information out so they can understand how they can sign up, how they can use the account, and how they can use that to further their occupational dreams or objectives.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Treasurer Moore. Pleasure having you on the show with us today. And that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can always get the latest news and information from the State Treasurer's Office. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course the website. Keeping you informed on the Library Television Network, I'm Gina Joins with the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office.